Hello and welcome to another update. In this one I'll be covering the whole front line. Starting out in the Zaporizhia front, the Russian forces are attacking the direction of Cherivne, which is to the west of Mirne. We can see here that they're attacking through the open field and are trying to take control of this village, which is situated in the center of this open field. There's the Ukrainian positions to the north and to the south of the village. So this is sort of a springboard for any attacks within this field and to the highways that goes between Gulyaipole and Orikhiv for the Russians to take control of some sort of outpost to launch an attack from in the future. As for the Vuhledar area, the Russian forces have stopped their ground offensive and are starting to hold their positions and switch over to artillery shelling of the Ukrainian positions. So similar to what we saw in Orikhiv, where they launched an initial offensive and then they held their ground and tried to shell the Ukrainian positions rather than further advance. So we're seeing them switch to artillery, and this is most likely because the weather or conditions or the terrain itself has become unsuitable for any offensives, or the Ukrainian forces have collected a large grouping of forces to prevent any Russian further advance. Moving on to the Donetsk front, the fighting continues in the Marinka area, and I think there's not much to talk about in this area as it's been talked about a lot. As for the Bakhmut area itself, the Russian forces continue their attacks in the direction of Ivanivske, to the south of Bakhmut, to the east of Bakhmut, and to the north of Bakhmut we see Russian forces continue their attacks in the direction of Krasnogora, as well as Pereskovivka from the north from the direction of Blagodatne. As for the part to the west of Blagodatne, the Russian forces continue their attacks in this direction, as well as there is some drone footage of fighting or artillery shelling happening on the fortified positions by the Ukrainian forces to the west of Soledar. So the two defensive positions which are located by these two patches of forest are being shelled heavily. And as I said in my analysis yesterday, the Russian forces are most likely to storm this area as soon as the ground freezes, which will happen in this weekend, and then it will be going on for a while as there's a cold wave across Ukraine in that time. As for the north, after the Russian captured the Sakoye-Vansety village, they are now attacking to the west and to the east of it, attacking the direction of Mykolaiivka as well as Vasyukivka to expand their zone of control in this area, as well as to flank the Ukrainian positions here in the south. If they manage to capture Vasyukivka, then they will be able to control the river line between Vasyukivka and Selizhneshke. So the Russian forces have an interest in taking control over this village. And the Russian forces also continue their attacks in the direction of Rostolivka. As for Spirina and Bilohorivka, the Russian forces continue their attacks to the east of Siversk. And on the Luhansk front, there's been an update where the Ukrainian deputy of the Ministry of Defense said that the Russians are launching heavy attacks in this direction. And according to the latest report by Ryber, they claimed that the Ukrainian forces launched an offensive in the direction of Kreminna and that they had been fighting them back. And then other sources claim that after this offensive by the Ukrainians, the Russians launched a counter-offensive in the direction of Yampolivka and this area here by the river line. So most likely the Ukrainians launched an offensive and then the Russians tried to gain some territory from that. Finally, to the north of Luhansk, the Russian forces continue their attacks in the direction of Novosibirsk. After the Ukrainians captured it, they want to recapture it. And that's all for this update. Thank you all for watching, hope you all enjoyed, and have a great day.